Hello, welcome to Dr. Hama's Internet Radio. I'm Dr. Hama. I'm a PhD in management. I'm currently working as a freelancer in Portugal, producing some cultural and educational materials like picture books. And this program is also part of my efforts at translating my ideas, which I developed in my PhD, into some accessible forms to as many people as possible. Yeah, since I studied people's everyday practices and I continue being interested in people's everyday practices, yeah, I find much relevance to ordinary people. But yeah, academic research is in principle to limited audiences. So yeah, and that demands a lot of efforts, and in comparison to those efforts invested, I'm a little bit skeptical about impacts of those research on people's everyday practices. So yeah, actually researchers have been concerned with those relevance for everyday life of their research. Yeah, but I rather ambitiously try to develop some alternative ways of developing people's knowledge. That's why I'm doing this Dr. Hama's Internet Radio. Yeah, and also with regard to the term relief of soul, yeah, it may sound a little bit eccentric and not very how can I say, relevant to many people, especially for those who frequently access the internet. Yeah, that's soul or relief of soul connotes something religious or supernatural, and yeah, simply ambiguous. So what soul is, where soul is located, so we don't know. So from my understanding, people access to the internet, yeah, expect much more practical benefits, so rather than spiritual or something. Yeah, so I understand that this relief of soul is not necessarily right words to use, but yeah, actually I intentionally chose those words, relief of soul. Yeah, yeah, one thing is just to appeal to people's, yeah, intuitively it sounds strange. So yeah, it may catch people's attention. Yeah, actually I am risking by doing so. Yeah, people, not a few people, just bluntly decline those terms. So yeah, I understand I'm risking at the same time, but I intend to appeal with this somewhat eccentric words, relief of soul, to catch people's attention. Yeah, and this program is in principle about soul and knowledge and happiness or morality. Yeah, since I've been studying about ethics, so morality is one of the key terms to better understand how we are organizing our behavior into some orderly manner. So, yeah, the morality, happiness, knowledge, these are the main the keywords, yeah, in this program. Yeah, and in order to clarify my idea, probably knowledge, the term knowledge should be clearly defined, because I haven't encountered definition of knowledge as I define. Yeah, so I think it's a good start, the good starting point to define or clarify my definition of knowledge. Yeah, as I already mentioned before, yeah, from my understanding, knowledge is our ways of being in this world. So it encompasses like just simple greetings or just meaningless utterances like oops or ouch or that kind of we sometimes make such utterances reflexively. So yeah, those kind of normally not recognized as knowledge. From my understanding, all those meaningless utterances also involved in the whole human knowledge. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking about human knowledge. Yeah, so by so defining, I think we'd better grasp the whole human efforts at like learning, studying. Those learning or studying are, I think, really conspicuous about, like I said, acquisition of certain knowledge. Yeah, but the knowledge is actually not an object. So it is said that knowledge is always accompanied by some sort of actions. So by acting out, we can demonstrate that I or you have obtained some kind of knowledge. So knowledge already involves some element of action. So, but action is also complicated term. So philosophers have long been discussing, arguing, what is the action? So, because it is complicated, because action, we need to talk about free will or consciousness or motivations. So we inevitably enter into those ambiguous spheres. So yeah, it's really tricky talking about actions. So I myself also have been struggling with how better I can understand knowledge. And I concluded that the human knowledge can be understood as our ways of being in this world. So by so understanding, our focus can be drawn to the present rather than past or futures. So we also talk about reflection or reflexivity about what we are doing. So it's really another important concept to develop our knowledge. But this reflexivity or reflectivity are also tricky, not straightforward. Because reflection can be done intentionally. But when it comes to the term reflexivity, it's as it is, reflexive can be done without consciousness, so clear consciousness. So again, we inevitably enter some ambiguous spheres between conscious and non-conscious. So, but I think the another solution I arrived at is also relationality. So as an individual, each of us is exert our agency in very limited ways. But anyway, our life is going because we are living together with human beings, so that even if I am not consciously aiming at anything, people seeing me potentially understand in their own ways the meaning of my action or my existence. So in this way, we cannot escape from these very thick relationships with others. Anyway, our existence can be interpreted in any ways by others. So those already I have been talking about very complicated theories. But I'm trying to present these complicated theories in order to how can I say, develop ordinary people's conceptions about reality. Actually, I have been concerned with somewhat too much rationalistic, scientific ways of conceptualizing reality. It already, how can I say, prevails among ordinary people, regardless of their professions. Not only researchers, scientists. Ordinary people have been acquiring the ways of seeing reality in somewhat rational and scientific manner. But as you may understand, our ordinary ways of understanding the world is not necessarily rational scientific. So sometimes we respond emotionally or intuitively. So those areas other than science needs to be incorporated into our ordinary life's theory. Yeah, so yeah, and again, I repeat, in this program, I want to talk about happiness and morality. Yeah, morality is a little bit, how can I say, not pleasing, not enchanting word, but happiness is really important, I understand. What is happiness? So, yeah, actually, people want material wealth or want to achieve some self-actualization. Yeah, all those purposes are really important to be happy. But it depends on, how can I say, varying endowments, varying resources we are endowed with by birth. Yeah, so I think it's better to locate the minimum happiness which everyone deserves, regardless of the places we are born, we are educated. So regardless of our parents' material conditions. So anyway, we have right to be happy. Yeah, so the minimum happiness I understand is the relief of soul. And as I introduced before, Jules Verne's journey to the center of the earth, yeah, I believe we can find many examples or many metaphors in literature, novels, and yeah, I would like to introduce in this program those useful metaphors or episodes we can find in novels, fictions. Yeah, also I also want to talk about scientific literature in order to I guess make comparison between scientific literature and our ordinary ways of understanding reality. Yeah, this is the what I have been thinking about, how to go about this program. Yeah, I wish I can expand these subscriptions to this channel. Yeah, I will try to present convincing stories in order to in relation to relief of our soul. Yeah, thank you very much, and see you again soon.